Well, hello, free people of the Rocky Mountain region. This is Brandon from Free State, Colorado. Hope you're staying warm out there in this November snow. But of course, today I'm here to talk to you about the election results, where we're at in our great state, where we can go, what's the path forward for liberty, right? I know a lot of people are disappointed, myself included. We saw a lot of changes nationwide. We saw a lot of shifting electorate. But here in Colorado, we saw things not necessarily move in the right direction, in my opinion. We saw some major tax increases pass. RTD, Jefferson County, Arapahoe County, as well as other jurisdictions across the state, increased the burden, the tax burden on their people. Voters made a poor decision, if you ask me, if they care about affordability in a lot of those instances. Of course, we have a new guns and ammunition tax across the state. We did have some wins, like defeating the ban on mountain lion hunting, the ban on slaughterhouses, the ban on fur in Denver, some of those other smaller, tangible victories. We had a couple pro liberty legislators like Scott Bright, most likely Ryan Gonzalez win their races. His is still going through the recount, possibly even Gabe Evans. So a couple wins here and there, but of course, some of the major victories remained elusive for a lot of our pro liberty candidates this year. So what do we do? Right? Free state Colorado is all about solutions. It's easy to identify the problems. It's easy to complain about what's going on, but it's more important than ever to get involved, to use your voice, to use your brain, and to find the other people who care about liberty and freedom and get together and try and do something about it. We have a couple years till the next major election, the midterms in 2026. We have some local elections next year in your municipality and school board that are going to make a huge difference. And of course, we have the state legislature convening in January. We're going to need some real watchdogs keeping an eye on that. Free State Colorado does a great legislative program every year from January to May, talking about all the bills, trying to sound the alarm on some of the bad ones, and alert some people to go testify in support of the good ones. Of course, your headquarters for all of the information in the future is at freestatecolorado.com. Always putting out new articles and videos. But I want to talk about some ideas today, some ideas, some projects, some plans that Free State Colorado has to move forward. If any of these things interest you, if you want to get involved, if there's any project that you think might have some opportunity to move Liberty forward, then please send me a message, send me an email, reply as a comment, and sign up for the email list, which I will have in the comments here below in the description. You'll see it all over. So sign up for the email list. Big things planned for Free State Colorado in the coming years. But let me know if you want to get involved. So here's some ideas I have about what we can do to move forward. So starting at the front here, digging into the NGOs and money laundering schemes of the political establishment. There's a network of nonprofit organizations that are very politically connected. They receive taxpayer money. There's some policies and legislation that tremendously benefits some very politically connected people in exposing that, really trying to understand where the money goes, how our tax money is being spent, how it's being sent to these different groups, and what are they even doing with it. I think that's really important to try and uncover that, to unravel those strands and shine some light on what's going on at that level. Now, there are some great people already doing this work out there on X and some other independent media, but there's so much to do. I think those efforts can be amplified. So let me know if you're interested in helping out with this project. Next project, very similar, but a little bit different, increasing transparency of government operations and insider deals. So specifically, I mean, what's going on within the government? Colorado does have some great sunshine laws, including our CORA, the Colorado Open Record Act, that does allow some transparency, allowed individuals to get information from the government, from the politicians, to let us know what they're doing. Now, these sunshine laws need to be strengthened. There's some great groups out there like Colorado Freedom of Information Coalition, CFOIC. I'll link to them as well, doing this work already. There's some great resources and definitely going to be working on more resources at Free State Colorado to get this information out there. But if you're interested in trying to dig in to what the government is doing, submit those Open Record Act requests and do a little bit of that research. Definitely can use your help there. So let me know. Additionally, building local groups of liberty leaders who will be watchdogs and organize opposition. So, in my mind, there's really two different layers or two different types of liberty activism, of what I would call liberty activism. And that's location based, would be the first one, right? You're based in your community. I'm in Greeley, so I want to focus on what's happening in my city of Greeley. I want to focus on what's happening in Weld County and then the state, but really in that order. That's really the location in which we live. as a big priority, right? So focusing on your location, the jurisdiction, the district, your state house district, your state senate district, all of those different layers is so important. So find the other people in your community who are interested in liberty. Maybe they're registered to vote a certain way, or maybe they show up at certain events that you go to, but try and network with them and focus on local tangible issues that you can really focus on. You could be a watchdog about how the government operates, as we talked about previously, and you can be that organizer, trying to organize that opposition to get people to show up to city council meetings, school board meetings, maybe even run for office. But it really starts in your local community. Now, I mentioned that was the first type of liberty activism is location based. The second type of liberty activism in my mind is issue based. There's some issues that people care about. For me, I really care about our ability to have firearms. I think our gun rights is one of the most important issues we should be focusing on here in Colorado, at least from my perspective, right? So I want to network with other gun rights activists across the state, try and strengthen them, help prop them up, and get involved in a lot of their activities. But that might not always be happening in my local community. So there's two different layers, really, or two different levels of that liberty activism. I hope that makes sense. So just an idea to put out there for you. Another one here: understanding pro liberty policies that will win in blue districts and working together on shared goals. I think this is so important. It's something that often is neglected or overlooked in the liberty community. But say you live in Denver, you live in downtown Denver, it's deep blue, it's as blue as it gets. Nobody except the Democrats ever going to win a race down there. But that doesn't mean that it's a losing battle. And by that, I mean there's specific liberty issues that you could focus on, issues that affect the working class, people who are just trying to get by, people who are trying to just afford to live. There should be some good pro liberty policies that you can focus on, and the local officials and the local representatives should get on board with those types of things. So really think about different levels or different ideas, different policies that you can focus on to work with people in these blue districts. The Democratic majority in the state legislature. I'm sure there's a couple of issues there. Maybe government transparency is one. Maybe it's raw milk or food freedom. Maybe it's some of these other issues that are going to help people. Find those issues, work together on those shared goals. That's definitely a path forward for victory. Another big issue, another path forward for freedom, I think, is this growing free markets for food, local entrepreneurs, and trade. So I'm talking about flea markets, garage sales, yard sales, community sales, things like that. These free markets of individuals who are getting together. Maybe they're a local entrepreneur, craftsman, tradesman, an artist. Maybe somebody's growing a chicken, they're growing vegetables or raising chickens, having eggs in their backyard, and they can trade them, they can sell them. Creating those farmers markets, community markets where people can get together and meet each other, build community, and engage in economic activity. We know economic activity increases the wealth of the people in the community. It's beneficial for everybody. So, that's a really good path forward. It's not political, which I know a lot of people are so turned off by politics. This is a great way to engage with people who believe in liberty and freedom, but maybe don't want to get involved in the political sphere. Another one here: strengthening alternative non-state educational institutions. So this is your private schools, your homeschooling, charter schools. Now, don't get me wrong, a lot of these are tied into the government. Government has a lot of control over different layers of our education system. But building those alternative structures, doing everything possible to get kids out of government schools, away from that potential abuse, drugs, violence, all the harm that so many predators seem to be putting on the kids. That's more important than ever. Get kids out of government schools, strengthen and support alternatives to these government schools. That's going to be a long term victory for liberty if enough people just opt out of sending their kids to these government institutions. One of my favorites here: building the Liberty community with meetups and events. Here in Colorado, we're the home of Liberty on the Rocks. Liberty on the Rocks Denver meets the first and third Wednesdays of every month at the Independence Institute, right in Capitol Hill in downtown Denver. Northern Colorado Liberty on the Rocks that I host is here in Greeley and Fort Collins, alternating Wednesdays. So anybody up here in north part of town, north part of the state, definitely pay attention for some of those meetups. And recently, there's a Colorado Springs Liberty on the Rocks as well. So they're only doing once a month at a brewery, but nonetheless, great opportunity to get together with some local liberty-minded individuals, make some friends, find some people who can get organized with. Um, great place to meet people, trade ideas. I always bring books to hand out, and it's a lot of fun. But it's all about community. And that's a huge step, I think, towards building a future of freedom, a free state. Now, I posted this on X, on Twitter, and I got some great responses. So I wanted to share some of these responses from people to see what they thought. And I'd love to hear what you have to say too. Please leave a comment or a reply wherever you see this, and I'll go back and take a look. This is Jimmy here. He says he'd add deliberate, strategic messaging designed to immediately counter the crap narratives coming from the troll in chief, Governor Gaslight, and his corrupt co-leg. Jimmy, well said there. But I think I really agree with his point there that having messaging being very strategic to counter the press releases and all this bombastic, the slapping each other on the back that the governor and the legislature have, all these laws they pass, they congratulate themselves about how wonderful it's going to make the state. But really having a liberty community out there challenging those narratives and coming back and saying, well, hold on a second, you're not improving the lives of anybody except a very select few, but at the expense of everybody else. So that's a great point, Jimmy. And that's a great thing about X and Twitter. We can get that information out there. Here's another one from Untitled. All great ideas. To advance liberty in Colorado, there must be cohesive, well planned marketing campaigns. Instead of independently scrambling around with ideas, there must be solid strategies with forethought. Free marketeers need to stop fearing marketing, strategy, and communications. So, very interesting. I like the idea of a cohesive, well planned marketing campaign. So, if there was an issue or some sort of policy that people were working on, to have a statewide campaign of different liberty leaders pushing out this message across the state in their communities on different levels, I think could be really helpful. So that was a good comment there. Another one from Untitled. I really like this one. Lawsuits against the political elite in Colorado who are doing illegal things, plus a cohesive marketing campaign to sync with the lawsuits. Of course, the lawsuits have been a huge technique. We see groups like Rocky Mountain gun owners suing the government to get some information out there or to stop their gun laws, excuse me. I was going to say even Nine News, as much as I hate Nine News, got to give them credit. They're suing the government on one occasion recently to get some information out there to their news organization there. So interesting stuff there, but lawsuits definitely a valuable tool to be used for liberty activists. Here's another one. I advocate against human oppression. It says we need to get organized now. Identify the politicians that need to be voted out in 26 and 28. Separate them from NGOs and activists. Identify the Democrats as a threat to children, parents, and families. Thought that was a very interesting comment. Of course, we just finished this stressful, strenuous election cycle, but nonetheless, the fight continues, the war goes on. Identifying candidates, getting them up to speed, getting their name out there, building them up as leaders in the community. You only got 2 years to do it. It seems like a long time, but it goes quick. Here's one from Roughster John. Promote regenerative farming and markets for the products. This will actually help us start pulling middle of the roaders in. MAHA, that's a make America Healthy Again. Can Colorado become the epicenter of MAHA? I think that's a good point. I'm a big believer in food freedom, fighting for raw milk and trying to eliminate a lot of these restrictions that we have on our food from the government, like ending food taxes. So important. Bring back plastic bags for one. But nonetheless, Maha, I think, could be a great strategy for Colorado to focus on as well. Colorado is one of the healthiest states out there. So why not double down on that? That's one of our strengths as a state. A lot of healthy people here. So really trying to build that up with regenerative farming, organic type of products, things like that. I think that can go in line with the farmers markets I was talking about and some of these entrepreneurial activities. Here's another one from Diesel Porridge. Reading the Spirit of 74 book. The colonists gave us a master class on how not to comply with immoral and unconstitutional laws, pick an issue, and organize mass noncompliance. Well, of course, that's really important, especially when it comes to our Second Amendment rights. We see the state government and local governments trying to violate our ability to defend ourselves very frequently. So that's very important. But there's other laws like the plastic bag law. As stupid as it is, it's in total infringement on our rights as free individuals to be able to put our groceries in a plastic bag. All these taxes that they keep putting on us. There's more and more of that. We're going to see these restrictions on eggs here soon. So, pick an issue, organize mass noncompliance. Very hard to do, but nonetheless, a good strategy as well. And then from Mayor Aaron Lamb, our Libertarian mayor of Kingsburg, Colorado, identify and train Liberty leaders to run in local winnable races. And I think he really hits the nail on the head there. And that's the best chance to win for Liberty is to focus on the most local level. So that's your city council, your special districts, your county, and then of course moving up to your state house, state senate seats. But really, that city municipal level is so important in getting people involved, getting people trained, finding people, candidates to run at that local level is probably one of the best prerogatives there is. Well, that's what I got for right now. Let me know what you think. Love to read your replies and your comments. And like I said, the Free State Colorado is not going anywhere. This is a project years in the making and many, many more years to come to fight for liberty. I know we'll win eventually, but it's going to take a lot of work. And if you're interested in volunteering some time, spending some effort, we got a lot of great projects planned for this next coming year. So let me know. Sign up on our email newsletter or leave a comment below and send me an email. Thanks very much and take care.